Welcome to the Nerd Party.
They can travel anywhere in time and space.
Right. This is gonna be fun.
Off we go into time and space!
Welcome to Time and Space, the Nerd Party's dedicated Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus. So what Doctor Who-y things have we been doing? We're slowly but surely making our way still through the third Doctor's first season. We are in the middle-ish of his third serial. There are 4 serials in that first season. So
okay.
Hopefully, knock on wood, without doing damage to the microphone, we can finish that first season before we do our third Doctor episode.
Yes.
For March.
Yes.
So we can at least have one series of the third Doctor.
Yes. We've been really busy lately.
Yeah.
Doing stuff.
Doing stuff. Now, this kind of doesn't necessarily Doctor Who per se, but we've been listening to David Tennant podcasts.
Oh, yes.
So he's had some...
Which we love.
Yeah, it's very interesting, or usually is, the sort of random guests, and so they talk random things.
Oh, now which one did you,
Well, I think the only one I really enjoyed was Olivia, the first one.
Yeah, she was delightful.
Sir Ian was good. I mean, he wanders a bit, of course, but that's Ian McCall.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that didn't feel like an interview. That just felt like Ian McKellen, is just having...
Which is all good stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I enjoyed Gordon Brown.
Okay.
Did you not?
It was all right.
You got to get more into British politics if we're moving back over the ocean, darling.
Well, if he wants to interview Tony Blair, I'll be there.
Oh. Fair enough.
But yeah, that's been about it for the most part. Have you been reading any books lately?
Nope.
No? Okay.
That's not true. I've been reading lots of books. I just haven't been reading the
Mark Gaddis book.
The Mark Gaddis book.
That you were assigned.
That I was
assigned
in class. And that's probably why I was never, even as a literature major, never wanted to read the books I was assigned. Mm-hmm. I'll read them later when I'm not assigned them.
You don't tell me what to do.
A little bit. I don't know why. I've always been that way.
The man.
Yep. That's what it is.
Well, last night we went to the movie theater. It was not to see Captain Marvel.
It was not. No. That's this weekend.
That's right. But what we did end up seeing was Fathom events, as they are prone to do every now and then. We're showing the Fourth Doctor's last serial, Logopolis. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Yeah. I always just think like logistician. It's part of the sort of promotional campaign of the Blu-ray coming out with the Fourth Doctor's last series. I forget which number that is off the top of my head. But anyway, so that was sort of part of it. I remember this is not new. I know when Star Trek, The Next Generation first came to Blu-ray 2 years ago at this point, they would always have one episode that they would put up, and like they had like the Best of Both Worlds with the Borg 2-parter in theaters for one, and like that. So that was just a way to always do promotions there. So
yeah, and it works.
Yeah.
There were people there. We weren't the only ones in the theater.
No, yeah, it was. I always feel, it's always like one night, though, and usually a random night. So.
Yes, Wednesday night is not necessarily the best night for us to drive 45 minutes to the cinema. But...
Yeah, better than that Monday night or something.
Yeah. And there was beer and food in the cinema, so, I like that.
Right. So, yeah, let's get into it. And this is, I'll do the synopsis for the beginning of Logopolis. The Doctor goes to Logopolis, how many times can I say that, to repair the TARDIS's chameleon circuit, not knowing that a shadowy watcher is spying on him. Meanwhile, his old enemy, the Master, has only recently gained secure longevity by possessing the body of Tremis, and revels in his safety. He has plans of his own for the planet of mathematicians, Logopolis, and a plan that could spell doom for the entire universe. The Master's plan could rock Logopolis, the keystone of all life. Could this mean the unraveling of the causal nexus and the end of the universe itself? The Doctor must pit his wits against the Master in a desperate battle to thwart his plans, but he is aware that this might be a fight which could easily spell the end of his life.
Dun dun dun!
So, as can sometimes happen in these presentations, the way this
these what?
the way this 4-part serial was presented as sort of a feature length, and so there's no cliffhanger, credits. It's just one long story. So how did you think it worked?
I thought it worked. Mm-hmm. There were places where I was like, "Oh, this is where that episode ends," but it worked for me as a full serial, and I think I would have gotten annoyed if they'd done credits and then the theme and then the credits and then the thing and that, don't need all that. Don't need it.
Yeah, I think I tried to spot the cliffhanger. I think I only did one, and then after that I sort of just stopped doing it. But,
yeah,
and of course it being Blu-ray, it's touched up obviously a bit, and then the new effects were in this as well.
Yep.
So they certainly
also in this one, little tiny mathematicians.
Yes, your favorite part.
Yay! They kept shrinking people.
Yeah, which I think is an interesting, because I'm not a classic expert, but it's something I never thought about that the Master at least. I was going to say this version of Master, but that's not true. That the Master does, because in the Deadly Assassin, when that's Crispy Master, that's what he does to the Time Lords.
Little tiny Time Lords.
Yeah. It's a weird ability, but yes,
hey,
a
there
consistent
you go.
one. Hypnotism and shrinking people.
Yeah, he does seem to have magic skills that the Doctor doesn't seem to have.
Right.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, because we watched, it's been a second since, but when we watched the Master's first appearance, and is that Terror of the Autons? I can't remember off the top of my head. With the third Doctor, I think he hypnotizes Joe Grant.
Yes.
And so, at the beginning, it's established. So I don't know. I guess to make him more interesting than the Doctor.
Yeah, it's a strange thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like most Time Lords have this ability and the Doctor is deficient in some way? Or
maybe the Master has just gone to different...
could Romana shrink people?
I don't know. The Master can turn into a snake, too. So, And Eric Roberts.
And he can turn into Eric Roberts, so maybe he's just a Time Lord prodigy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was one thing with the special effects, which, they told us a million times before the movie started and after the movie started. So I think if they didn't tell you, you would probably not notice it in a good way. You would be like, oh.
It felt very subtle.
Yeah, because, other than some of the computer graphics did seem not 1979 or 80 or whatever this was.
80 or 81, because the women talk about it several times.
Yeah, because and it's just, you just see it on the screen, and you're like, oh, and then you're like, wait a minute, that couldn't have done that in 81. It's actually too good. But it doesn't throw you off, other than just like, yep, that's how that would look if we did that now.
Yeah.
And then using the actual, whatever it's called, radio telescope, that's not what it's called. But anyway, whatever it's called.
I think radio telescope.
Is that what it's called?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of using the modal.
Yeah.
It's only a model.
I did quite love the extensive use of a dot matrix printer.
Yes.
That was exciting.
I liked how they were like, oh, this human stuff, you'll have to read it or something.
Yeah.
So let's get into it a little bit. So, Characters. You haven't seen this one. It's been a while since I've seen it, but this sort of picks up from the second Romana leaving E-Space, and so now and I forget whether then that was followed maybe by the Keepers of Traken episode when Nissa's introduced and the Master's introduced, or reintroduced, for lack of a better word. But anyway, so basically what I'm trying to say is this sort of starts with a little bit of continuity. We see the empty Romana room, we see Nissa,
and we don't often... we see a lot of the TARDIS.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The inside of the TARDIS. There's a garden.
Gothic
with
garden.
Cloister bells.
Yeah, and this is actually, I had to look this up, this is actually the introduction of the Cloister bell. This is the first time it's ever heard in Doctor Who.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Like the Cloister bell in general, or just...
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. Yes, I'll point it out more.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very...
I look forward to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't realize that this was when it was introduced, because I know they sort of make a big deal of the Fourth Doctor being like, oh, this means something. But I just thought we just haven't had it with Adric, so I guess to explain it to him. But no, this is the first time they've ever had it, so...
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Cloister bells. in Romana's room.
Yeah. So, it's just the Doctor and Adric, which, that's a pretty boring combination. Because, again, without remembering where everything was, I'm like, is Nyssa hiding in a room or something? When is she popping out? I feel like we've been 30 minutes into it. I didn't realize, she's just like, boom, she comes in like the
Yeah, because apparently she'd gone away.
Well, or she hadn't left her home planet. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
She was back on Tracken or whatever it's called. I guess, it wasn't sort of like her last episode was just sort of like guest star. But now,
I see.
Now she's companion. So that's when the ladies were talking later, as he was saying, well, it's your first one. Was that your first one too? Kind of, in a way.
Kind of. Yeah, okay. All right.
And by the ladies, we mean there was an extra at the theater with, if I can remember their names, Sarah Sutton, who, of course, plays Nyssa. And what is Tegan's real name? It is currently escaping my mind. But anyway, the two actors.
We'll go with Tegan.
Yeah, but the two actresses did some extras for this presentation. Well, anyway, so getting into the proper introduction of Tegan, what'd you think of her?
Yeah, I thought it was a good introduction. I like Tegan.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tegan better than Nyssa, which I know is not the way you feel.
No.
And you seemed to think that I would change my mind, but so far I have not.
I don't think I said you'd change your mind. I just said you were wrong.
I'm not going to change for you, baby.
You know my feelings about Nyssa when we entered into this marriage.
Yeah, so I liked, they established the whole air stewardess thing. That's not the correct term anymore.
I don't know. Flight attendant.
Flight attendant, thank you. Is she going to wear that outfit all the way through?
Not all the way through. If you remember, and I'm trying to remember as I talk, that she actually leaves the show and then comes back later, because we saw the episode where she came back. It was something with her cousin. Yeah. Vaguely, something.
It was in London.
Yeah.
And there was some drug deal gone bad or something.
Yes, I know we reviewed it on the show. Vaguely remember. Yeah. But anyway, the point is she left and came back. So,
Right, okay.
So, yeah, she wore different things.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually has...
I feel like in that one she was wearing a red flight attendant's outfit.
Oh, well, who knows?
Yeah, and this one was not red.
She actually, and we may do this one time, there's whether it's interesting or not, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but she actually has two different serials involving, I can't remember, one is called Snake Dance, I don't know if that's the first or second one, and then there's another one. It's basically, there's this planet where she kind of gets... I'm trying to remember if I watched this with you or not, or whether it was Doctor Who's line is it anyway. But anyway, there's sort of this ongoing storyline. There's one serial where she gets sort of like taken over, as sometimes happens, and then like 5 serials later, they kind of revisit that. So it's a little bit of sort of continuity,
okay.
A little character continuity, because it does traumatize her a little bit, and so...
As it might.
So I forget if that's why she left, or anyway. But anyway... I just thought that it's an interesting part to that character, because the fifth Doctor it tends to be one of my favorite Doctors, but his stories and companions are not always my favorites. So, but anyway, that's the introduction of Tegan, who of course will be the fifth Doctor's companion. So Nyssa reintroduced, I suppose, but she doesn't necessarily get a lot. But anyway,
just sort of appears.
I'm back. Here I am.
Yeah, and you don't. Oh, well, you do a little bit about the Watcher. I want to.
Sure.
I have questions.
Yeah, well, I think we all do.
We can come back to it.
Sure. So we get Nyssa and then Adric,
because the Watcher apparently is the one that brings Nyssa back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Adric using his star to break open phone boxes. So.
Yes, his sheriff's star.
Yes, his mathematical excellence badge.
I've been deputized.
I shot the Adric.
That's later.
Mm-hmm. And this is sort of, then again, without having seen The Keepers of Traken recently, I'll just call this the introduction of the Anley Master, the last name of the actor. What do you think of this? Well, I know you've seen it before, but anyway, the introduction, at least, of this version of the Master, or at least the full introduction of this version of the Master.
Yeah, I mean, this Master feels to me like he's the one I think of when I think of classic Master.
Right.
Is that because he does it for a really long time?
He does it for a really long time. I mean, so this is his... I mean, yes, he appeared previously, but anyway, full Master of Serial is this episode. And you think he's still the last episode of Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who. He's in The Survivors with the Cheetah People.
Really?
And that was the last episode.
Oh, there you go.
So 4 through 8.
I do remember.
Or seven, excuse me. 4 through
he
7.
really is kind of the classic.
He's the 4th Doctor of Masters.
Yes, he's there forever.
Yeah, apparently he's the only... He appeared with every Doctor, from... Not that there's many left, but from then on until... But except there's no 6th Doctor Master story.
Oh, really?
Right.
I wonder why.
Maybe he didn't like him either. No, anyway.
Oh, sad.
But anyway, but what do you think? Because I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. I just feel like there's often too many Master stories from this point on. All over the 5th Doctor, and then not as many with the 7th Doctor, still. But I just thought they used a little too much in the 5th
and
Doctor.
None in the 6th,
right?
So that doesn't support your hypothesis at all.
But he's obviously broadly written and broadly performed. But
yes, yeah, it's villain.
Though I think one thing I didn't actually know what his plot was this episode.
Like what his plan was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was sort of like, I'll take over Logopolis, because take a drink, and...
destroy it.
Or silence it, or he wanted to put a pause button on it, and that was cool. And then he's like, I put a pause button. Don't worry, I can still press play. Oh, shoot, this remote doesn't work. Well, I've ruined the universe.
Yeah, and there was...
no explanation of
entropy.
why. Yeah.
It was entropy. And little tiny mathematicians.
And that was his fault.
Yes. Yeah, he was villain. He is, as you say, he's such a caricature villain in my mind. If he had a cape and a top hat and twirled his mustache, I don't know that he could be more of a stereotypical villain. Mm-hmm. So, meh.
And he has his TARDIS that actually chameleons.
Yes, and was like a column.
And then a fern of some sort.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about the plant. Yeah, It was a plant first, and then it was a column.
It's a police box first.
Well, yeah.
But yes, and then, yes. Column, plant, column.
Why did he kidnap that police officer?
It's unclear.
All right.
All of it's unclear. Why did he materialize inside an actual police box with his police box? It's like, I see you like police boxing while police boxing. Here's a police box.
Yeah, and it was all...
And then he police boxed in the TARDIS.
Although I think that had something to do with...
on purpose.
Like he was trying to hitch a ride with the TARDIS, with the Doctor's TARDIS to get to Logopolis. I think it was something like that. Because I was like, why is he even on Earth if he wants to destroy Logopolis? But I think that he had to go with the Doctor somehow.
Yeah, it was a little confusing. I'm going to admit it was interesting, but the first part of, the first 30 minutes was sort of losing me.
Yeah.
But I was hanging on. This is, but because the characters were interesting, which is what I always argue about Classic Who, even if the story or the props or costumes can be kind of weird. The characters are always at least interesting. Because even the 4th Doctor, which we'll get to in a second here, was sort of just randomly talking for 30 minutes about entropy, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. But
stopped listening 29 minutes ago, yeah.
You seem to care, though, so that's...
we appreciate your enthusiasm.
Well, and I guess before, getting into the 4th Doctor, before that, so the actual plot of the story, because we've talked a little bit of the characters here, the story itself, what'd you think about it?
It's typical, in my mind, classic Doctor in that this was a very thin story for 4 episodes.
Right. Yeah, because it is sort of teasing, we're going to go to this place. No, never mind, we're going to be on Earth. We're not going to go to the place. No, we're going to go to the place. And then we go to the place, and then we go back.
Yeah, I was starting to think.
That we actually wouldn't go.
Halfway through before they finally got to Logopolis. And I was like, did they just call it that because it's ironic that they never end up going to Logopolis?
You're looking at your program going, well, it says that it...
Yeah. And then there are things that they don't, like I didn't understand the TARDIS within the TARDIS within the TARDIS within the TARDIS.
I didn't either.
And they sort of walk through and, Adric uses his sheriff's badge to unlock the TARDIS, and they go in, and then there's another TARDIS, and Adric uses his sheriff's badge to open that TARDIS, and they go into that TARDIS, and we do that 3 or 4 times, and then they're like, okay, well, let's go out again.
Well, no,
and then don't even.
Well, they go into it and then are outside.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
but it still makes a lot of sense.
And then they come back in and it's gone.
Yeah.
And
explanations do not abound.
Yeah, and Tegan somehow got locked into parts of it.
Right.
But I'm not sure which TARDIS she was. I think it was just the original one, and then why did she get locked in, and what's up with that? And but then they let all of that go, and that was confusing
and
to
they're
me.
off to Logopolis.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, none of this stuff matters anymore. We haven't resolved any of it. Off we pop.
Let's go make some new complications.
Yeah. And I'm very confused about what ultimately the Earth detectives decided happened
with Adric?
the little tiny policeman and the little tiny auntie.
Yes.
Like what I want to see that police file.
I think that's when unit comes in off and then cleans up.
It's going to have to, because inside that car were two little tiny. Or maybe they were just like, oh, they're dolls. But they didn't think that, because then they were like, Doctor, we need to take you in and question this. And I don't understand why the doctor wasn't like, why do you need to question me? There's a car with two dolls in it. What's the problem?
I just wandered in from...
What's the crime?
They're badly made dolls.
Yeah. I didn't make them. Talk to Mattel. I don't know.
I thought you were also going to talk about Adric having a bike fall on him.
Yes.
Yeah. Ow, this bike's on me.
Yeah.
Someone, fooled you.
Now I'm off. The whole thing was, there were a lot of holes in this plot.
I have to say, I mean, even though, I don't want to say it was boring, it wasn't boring, but lackluster may be a better word. Logopolis, I mean, once it got on a bit, once all the teeny mathematicians happened.
Little tiny mathematicians.
But Monitor, for such a, I don't want to say it's a nothing part, but it was actually an interesting guy. I kept waiting for him to do something a little bit more interesting, because he had a thing about him. He was a watchable quality. I was sort of waiting for him to do something else, though.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Then Tegan's like, why are you using all of this cheap labor? These guys need to unionize.
This is a sweatshop.
This is a sweatshop. And then we're not going to explore that any further either.
Right. No, not many women on that planet, I noticed.
No, that's true. All of those, or young people.
Yeah.
It was all those old guys with weird things on the back of their heads.
Yeah.
They sort of remind me of the Babylon 5 girl that Bruce Boxleitner marries.
Oh, Delenn?
Yeah.
Minbari?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the thing on the back of their heads. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. And then going back to Earth, I mean, I don't. Again, Doctor Who, you don't have to explain everything to me. I can. But anyway, the Logopolians stole
Logopolians.
Yeah, stole. Oh, no, I forgot the name of it. What's the Greek? The Pharos Project. I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that thing from the Earth, and I'm like, really, for 1980, Earth was really the technology you were going for there. But anyway, but then we go to the Pharos Project on Earth, Britain, of course, and there we go, and. Even that plot, I sort of didn't know exactly what was going on.
I didn't have a clue.
I mean, I get, as much as I got it, that, somehow Logopolis was holding the universe together. I mean, I got that. Sure, that's fine. I'll go with it.
Entropy.
Yep.
There was something about entropy.
And they were stopping it and something. And I guess they had sort of alluded that that's why they went into E-space, because they kind of created anomalies by doing these things. Anyway.
Oh, and then they talk about entropy.
Yes, they got it, yeah. And then... they go to Pharos, where they're going to whiz-bang because they stole the computer parts, and then the wire, but then that was going to fix everything, but then the Doctor pulled the wire out because the Master was going to take things over, and then the story ended.
Yeah.
So the universe is saved, I hope?
I assume so.
Okay. I
think that's a fair assumption.
So.
We don't hear anything more about it, so.
Universe saved, asterisk. So, okay, well, let's actually talk about the heart of this matter. So this is the Fourth Doctor's last hurrah. What do you think, having seen enough of the Fourth Doctor, right? What do you think of this? Is this a good last story for him, or how was he, or all those wonderful things?
Yeah, he's fine. I didn't think that this was a good last story for him because it's so busy doing so much.
We're going to set up the next series, Tom, but we also want you on this.
Yeah, that's exactly what that felt like, and that's a terrible last hurrah. So I kind of felt bad about that. I did enjoy the regeneration flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. And
I didn't know a lot of those people, but it was okay.
Yeah, I mean...
Sarah
right.
Jane was there.
Yeah, Sarah Jane, yeah. So, I mean, you recognize the classic ones, the Zygons, the Cybermen, the Daleks.
Yeah, no, the bad guys, yeah.
So, which is interesting, because they had the bad guy flashback, and then eventually they had the companions flashback. You don't have to get a bad guy's flashback.
Yeah, no, that is not what I want when I'm dying
Davros.
/ regenerating, is for all of the bad guys in my life to... It's like, you know, on my deathbed are all my ex-boyfriends going to flash through my head? Because nobody wants that.
Right. No, I think it's interesting because, or as much as it is, because the Sixth Doctor, of course, doesn't really get a regeneration, nor does the seventh one. I mean, he does, but not till the movie, so not in classic Who.
Yeah, and even that he doesn't get the flashbacks.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't. That's a good point. So the Fifth Doctor is the only comparison, and he sort of has the heads that float around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you sort of have the Master at the end laughing. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I did like it. I always am struck by, and it's not just me, because I read it somewhere else too, that Tom looks really bad in his last series. I mean, he almost looks better now than he does in his last series. And it wasn't maybe as bad in Logopolis. I don't know, maybe this just cleaned it up, maybe with the Blu-ray stuff. But he just looks really older than he does. I mean, I know he's the Doctor for a while, but he just looks more haggard, really. Like thinner, really gaunt, almost kind of in a way. So I can tell why he stopped. Though, again, he'd been doing it a long time at that point. So he told Tom Baker at the beginning of this, you know, before the Logopolis started, he gave a little short thing. I didn't quite. He said when he said he would go to the set and sleep there, was that after he had quit?
I'm not sure. I sort of got the impression that it might be, and
that's
weird.
sadder. Yeah, that's sadder. I mean, if it's while he's, because first I thought he meant while he was the Doctor, he would go to the set and sleep, which is weird, but okay. But if it was after, then that's not good.
Yeah, like he would go sleep on the mattresses that they used for the stunts.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem hygienic either. And may explain the haggard look.
Yes.
But yeah, that's strange.
May have been going through a divorce then.
Yes. Yeah. And he also talks about the fact that he's still the Doctor.
I have no doubt that he still believes that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know if we necessarily got like any, you know, Fourth Doctor isms. You know, like if it's the last thing, you know, you're gonna pull out all the stops. Like I think about like the Third Doctor one with Planet of the Spiders, where he's like driving a car, flying the plane, a helicopter. You know, he's doing all the Third Doctor. Like we're gonna jam pack all this in. It's the last one.
Yeah.
Fourth Doctor, like you said, I don't think he really necessarily. I mean, he tripped someone with a scarf. That's about it.
Yeah, that's true. He does, but it's not even his traditional scarf.
No.
It's the red one.
Yeah, like it would have been well, and I don't know. It was fine the way it is. I'm not trying, but you know, I just think about like with the 11th Doctor when he takes the bow tie off, having the scarf off. But of course, we know in Castrovalva with the 5th Doctor, the newly regenerated. He uses he uses it to find his way around the TARDIS. And sort of unwinds the scarf, and it's sort of very symbolically, I don't know if that was on purpose, you know, winding off the 4th Doctor. So, it gets done later, I suppose, but yeah.
Yeah, weird.
All right.
Weird.
So let's talk about The Watcher. Weird. Speaking of weird.
Yeah.
So what'd you... Because I've shown you the regeneration, but I'm sure it makes sense when I showed you the book. So now you've seen the whole context.
Yes. And I sort of originally thought The Watcher was somehow related to the Master for a while.
Well, Adric thought the same.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But then the Watcher is a mummified version of
the future Doctor.
And how does that work? And is that a thing that you can do? Because I don't think it is.
And yet,
I feel like that's not a thing you can do. And then why? Because
it solves a lot of problems.
Clearly by then. I mean, we've already had, right, the 3 Doctors?
Right.
And so we have seen that, even though it's not supposed to happen and you're not supposed to cross your own timeline, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
Doctor does it all the time.
Right.
So we've already had a film where we've got 3 doctors all in the same room.
Right.
So then what is his purpose for being there? Just to be there for the regeneration? So why? But he had to have already been there for the regeneration in order to go back in time to be there for the regeneration. And why is he dressed as a mummy?
I wore the chains.
Forged in life, yeah. Yeah.
Instead of the scarf, it's the chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. I'm sure there's fan essays about the Watcher. The only thing I can think of, and you haven't seen it yet, but it doesn't necessarily make sense even if you do see it.
Good time.
Is that we haven't watched, and we will one day. It's not horrible, but the Trial of the Time Lords. It's the 6th Doctor's final season, which is we've seen one. I can't remember which one we saw.
Gonna say.
But anyway, the Valeyard is the prosecutor who is supposed to be an amalgamation of. I'm going to get this wrong when I say it, so you can yell at me, audience. The 11th and 12th Doctors? Or maybe the 10th and 11th Yeah, it's supposed to be an amalgamation of 2 of the Doctor's future regenerations. Because, spoiler alert, he's actually prosecuting the 6th Doctor so he can steal all his remaining regenerations. But anyway, so that's the sort of other weird concept that we'll eventually tackle again, is future combination Doctors.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, as much as that makes sense, but the Watcher, I guess one thing, because much like you, I think I saw the regeneration before I saw the actual serial, but even having seen it, there seems to be a suggestion at least, even if it's a future ghost spirit Doctor, I mean, as much as I can get with that, but it almost seems like he's also, to genderify it, he's also sort of helping the Doctor regenerate. Because he sort of literally sucks in, and then the Doctor turns white, and then Peter Davison says hello. And so it's kind of like an enzyme of regeneration. It's like, I can get that he's part of an appearance or a specter, but the Doctor needed to regenerate because he turned all pasty or whatever.
Yeah. And also, why do we need the Watcher? Other than to go get Nyssa.
To help the plot.
And the fact that he goes to get Nyssa, doesn't that automatically exclude him from still being just a Watcher?
Yeah, because he's doing a lot of doing. He talks to the 4th Doctor.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He talks to Adric.
Yeah.
Nyssa, I think the only person he doesn't talk to is Tegan.
Yeah, this is not the behavior of somebody I would
doer.
just call a Watcher. Yeah, I think they should have called him a doer.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about that? I mean, it's not like the most, broad acting in the world, but, I don't mean that in a bad way, but with the Doctor seeing the Watcher and presumably, I don't know what the opposite of dramatic irony, only he knows and we don't know. He knows what it is.
Does he?
Because he seems to sort of, because, then he starts making all these things about, he doesn't say the end is coming, but I forget the exact words.
Ding, 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 the end is nigh.
Yeah,
ding,
he doesn't say
ding,
there's
ding,
a price to be
close
paid
bells.
or something, but he basically tells Adric something bad's going to happen. And I think he spends the whole at least this was my headcanon, as we can say that he knows he's going to die.
But if you're going to do that, make it more obvious.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing about that. Don't make it weird.
Because I think, again, this is what I always say to you. I'd love to see the script because watching it every time, not that I've seen the whole serial that many times, but watching now the whole serial the whole time, at the end, even you just watch the clip of the 4th Doctor's regeneration to find on YouTube, where it's you go through the whole flashbacks, and then it's almost like an ADR, where it's oh shoot, we got to record the line about what the Watcher is, because we got 5 seconds left. And it's just Matt, can you do this line? It was the Doctor the whole time. Because it's sort of oh, it's the Watcher. He was the Doctor the whole time! And then regeneration and done. I'm what?
And I'm also I would like to know what the conversation between the Watcher and the Doctor was. Yeah. I'm the next Doctor. Okay. Why are you dressed like a mummy?
Are you my mummy?
Yeah, different episode. Yeah, it was a strange... And again, if
Because we've just done the fade regenerations. 1 to 2. TARDIS, bright. Well, a little bright light, or as much as you could do back then.
Yeah.
2 to 3, we actually didn't see. It was just sort of and then John Pertwee falls out of the TARDIS in color, and then 3 to 4 was the sort of a fade, and then this is sort of like white sticky cocoon, Peter Davison.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't. And so then the next question is: are all the other doctors currently hanging out in white sticky cocoon stuff, dressed like mummies, just waiting to thunk, fall into place where they need to? I'm just not sure what he brought to. Like, it would have been interesting if there were a suggestion that he was death or something like that. If there was some very clear awareness, but there's not.
Yeah.
It did make me think a little bit, randomly, of the scene, Madame Vastra's people, when they're underground.
Right.
That one. When
Silurians,
thank you. Where Amy and Rory see themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm not sure is explained either.
Right, well, they travel to the little farther future, and they're in the Wales, or wherever they are.
Of course they're in Wales.
Yeah. Well, it's mining. Yeah. And so, they see themselves far away.
Yeah. And then only one, and then
because Rory disappears.
Yeah.
Then at the end, Amy waves to herself.
Yeah. It felt a little bit, it reminded me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But.
So it's random. I mean, it really did seem like it was sort of a Deus Ex Watchera, because it was sort of like, this was just one time, like 5 times during the episode, like, I don't know where, the Watcher told us to do this. And like, well,
or,
I guess,
the Watcher brought me here.
If but for that, we would have really been screwed, wouldn't we?
I like it. Deus Ex Watchera.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. So, before we talk post-show, anything else about proper Logopolis?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. So, at the end, we sort of had random science hour, which is not a bad thing. Of course, when it's 10:30 at night, maybe not the best thing. But as a concept, I didn't mind it.
Yeah, no, I found it quite interesting. Tegan seemed to know a lot about space.
She had a lot of questions.
She had a lot of questions. But also, they were smart questions.
Right. Tell me the difference between a pulsar and, so yes, it was very interesting.
Yeah. But, as you say, possibly not necessarily the most riveting, hey, you've just sat for 2 hours in the cinema and now we're going to show you a radio telescope that really didn't play a huge part in the script anyway.
Mm-hmm. Other than, this is the special effect we definitely replaced.
Yep. But, hey, there are aliens somewhere, and look, the moon landing really did happen.
Janet Fielding, sorry. I got tired of not remembering her name. So, yes, Janet. Janet and Sarah visit this radio telescope, apparently the 3rd largest in the country. First when it was built.
3rd in the world.
Sorry, that's what I'm sorry. Yeah. 3rd in the world. Yeah, but it was interesting to learn about the different things they study, and because it really gets into the fundamental things about the universe, which is interesting, because we don't think about it. How gravity works, and gravity is time, and all that stuff. So
and a lot of talk about Einstein's theories of relativity and how the research that they were doing continues to support that theory. Mm-hmm. And part of that theory is that time is not linear.
Right. Having seen, recently we saw a stage production of The Life of Galileo, so that's what got us a little bit in science moods and science approaches and all that. So, that was interesting, as well as, as we study, not we, of course, we're too busy looking for lost episodes, but as but as scientists study galactic phenomenon, obviously they're really studying the past, of course, because all stars are, the way light works and sound is all far, light years away, and
anything that we see from here happened.
And I did like the thought of that someone is looking at us right now in the future.
Yes, which is cool and kind of creepy.
Yep.
And the suggestion that the chances of there being life on a singular planet out of all of them, interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I thought
interesting.
It's a nice note to think about, because I don't know, this is me personally, I don't always, because being a Star Trek background, which is usually very sciencey, even if it's fake sciencey. But Doctor Who, I don't always imagine being very sciencey, but it was interesting to have that connection to it and have folks interested in that. So
Yep.
I'm always wondering, if people watch Doctor Who and then become scientists, because you watch Star Trek, you become a scientist. I get it, but Doctor Who, I guess I could see why, but it doesn't always instinctively come to me that would necessarily be that motivation.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Well, how did you... So, from that theater experience, we will now go into the TARDIS library.
And then we're going to go into the next TARDIS library. And then after that, we're going to go into the TARDIS library. And then after that, we're going to go into the TARDIS library. But it's okay, because I brought my sheriff's badge to get us in.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
go to the library now.
And so we're going to go from the theatrical world to the audio theatrical world.
Yes.
With a Big Finish production and our continuing following of the Eighth Doctor.
Yes.
With the Sword of Orion. This is, I believe, our...
Which totally looks like Sword of Onion in here.
Right.
That's fun.
It is. Makes me cry. I believe this is our third serial so far with the Eighth Doctor, if I'm doing this off the top of my head, with the Doctor and Charlie. Would you like to read the synopsis?
I would. The human race is locked in deadly combat with the android hordes in the Orion system. Light years from the front line, the Doctor and Charlie arrive to sample the dubious delights of a galactic backwater, little suspecting that the consequences of the Orion War might reach them there. But High Command's lust for victory knows no bounds. Trapped aboard a mysterious, derelict star destroyer, the Doctor and Charlie find themselves facing summary execution. But this is only the beginning of their troubles. The real danger has yet to awaken. Until, somewhere in the dark recesses of the Garazone system, the Cybermen receive the signal for reactivation.
Doctor. Yeah. So this was, what'd you think, darling?
I was so confused all of the way through it.
Right. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'd say this was an average one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't knock out of the park either. Because it was sort of like, there's a little bit of connection from the previous one with the Hurt. I've even forgot what it was called. The Time Raptor. It's not what it's called. Time Pterodactyl. That's what it is in my head. But anyway, and so they're like, we need to find a way to make it feel better. Let's go to some galactic market. And they go there, and then one thing leads to another, and they end up going to this barge or ship, and then that ship's the one that's encountered, not that they know it at the time, but the cyber ship. And then they get in the cyber ship, and then they lose the TARDIS, and adventures.
There's a dead body, and the guy's like, you obviously killed him.
Because we jump to conclusions.
Yep. And we may or may not be pirates of some sort, or
that's right.
selling...
They were scrappers, or that's what they were. But some of them were some smugglers on the side.
Yep.
Their side hustle, like you have.
Yep.
But then their captain was this mysterious captain.
But then she wasn't the captain the whole time, because there was a mutiny.
Oh, that Michael Burnham.
Yeah, and the mutiny guy was one of the...
He eventually got cyber controlled.
Obviously. But he was one of the smugglers, wasn't he?
I think so.
And, yeah, it was all very... And then there was another guy, and they sounded a lot alike, and that's always tricky when you've got radio.
Now, darling, do you know who one of the guys was?
No.
I could tell you the character's name, but I don't know who it was. But one of the guys, Mark Gatiss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I missed that.
Yeah, I don't even know which one it was.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Well, and how's Charlie going for you?
Yeah, it didn't feel... This felt very, very plot-driven. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know necessarily that I learned a whole lot of new stuff about Charlie.
Yeah, it seemed a little companion generic.
Yeah.
Just be kidnapped or in the other story.
Yeah.
Because we have to split the party up always. So, Doctor, you go over here. Companion, you're with the scrap crew, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So I don't feel necessarily that I learned anything new about Charlie this time.
Yeah, it's interesting in as much as it was with the captain, the one who was sort of more mysterious because she knew who the Cybermen were, and that kind of intrigued the Doctor, because at this point in time. You know, the cyber war had been, you know, like 100 years ago or something like that. But then, of course, you meet the Cybermen eventually, and so yeah, it was interesting. I mean, not like I said, not the greatest. I give it like a.
They had the little cyber rats.
Yep, the Cybermen.
That's what I said.
Yes. And so yeah, like I'd give it like a B-, C+. You know.
Yeah, I'd probably go slightly lower.
Mm-hmm.
Solid C.
Right.
Just because I was so confused.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's a stereotypical Doctor Who story, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but, you know.
And again, you know how I feel about the really sciencey heavy one. You know, this felt very sci-fi heavy.
Right.
And a lot of obviously the benefits of doing audio is that you can do more sci-fi without breaking the bank. Mm-hmm. But this felt really, really sci-fi, and that just made my head hurt.
Yeah. To me, I was really intrigued at the beginning, because it sort of captured the sort of the mystery of like, oh, this is a ship. And I mean, because you've seen the cover, you know, it's a cyber ship of the adventure. But still, you know, and you don't know how many are on there. Is it one Cyberman or two? And they sort of keep popping up, but then they kind of shoot them. So you don't know how many are on there. And then, of course, they're frozen because they're always frozen.
Yeah.
The Cybermen are always frozen. That's what they do. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So, you know, it's a regular Cyberman 8th Doctor adventure. So, we don't know. We'll look forward to the next one. How do you enjoy going in order here with the 8th Doctor?
Yeah, no, I think it's important because we learned at Galley that there are 1 trillion companions for the 8th Doctor. And so I'm quite looking forward to seeing what else, you know. Yeah. I haven't gotten a good handle. I mean, I like Lucy. Right. I like Lucy a lot. I like Sheridan Smith a lot. Mm-hmm. And I've found her, like, we've listened to the one where obviously she's not all that she seems. Right. And we don't know any more than that. And we know bits about Charlie, but not, I don't think we know yet enough about Charlie. We certainly don't know more about Charlie yet than I feel like I do about Lucy. Right.
Lucy was a more mysterious introduction. Charlie's sort of like, I was pretending to be a man, but now I was interesting.
Yeah, and we get more of it. There's a whole Alice in Wonderland thing at some point.
At some point.
That we've listened to, but that's all we've got, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've been sort of spoiled that it becomes Rose-like at some point with her and the Doctor, so...
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So, we're going to plow through, because we got to get to that bit.
Apparently.
Love a little Doctor Who rom-com.
Yeah. So, we'll see. All right. Well, until next week, we hope you enjoy listening, watching, and reading about the Doctor's adventures throughout time and space.
This is BBC Television.